Hello and welcome to the Bald and Beardiful. I'm Bryce.
I'm Chris.
And I'm bald.
And I'm beautiful.
And most people that are watching this, happy Halloween 2020.
You had to think about it for a second. It feels like it's been like 15 years, but yes,
I'm
we are still in
just used to
2020.
saying 2020. And so saying 2020 kind of threw me off a little bit. And as we all know, it's been a really weird year with the pandemic. I liked how people finally stopped saying global pandemic because it's redundant.
Yes, because that's what makes it a pandemic, the fact that it is across borders and global.
Yeah.
Versus an epidemic, which is the exact same thing. It just doesn't leave the continent.
Yeah. So, I'm glad people stopped saying that. And I remember viewing this year, and I'm sure everyone else does, as going to be like, it's a new start. It's going to be great, better than 2019. And we're all celebrating the fact that it's the 20s when, if you're, decent at your American history, the 20s last century weren't that great either.
The Roaring 20s were good.
Wasn't that when the Great Depression was?
No. You are the epitome of public education.
Okay, when was the Great Depression?
30s, the 1930s. I want to say the was it 1933 would have been the stock market crash, if I'm correct.
I'm looking it up right now. Great Depression years. Let's see what we got. 1929 to it ended in 33.
Okay, so I had a date, so it did start.
So technically, it was in the 20s.
Oh my god! Whatever. It was for 3 years in the 30s, really. So it was 1930 through 1933. It started. Yeah. The stock market crash.
It was in the 20s for like half a year.
Either way, the Great Depression is the 1930s.
Yeah,
the beginning of the 1930s.
I do actually remember the Roaring 20s. I mean, who doesn't know the Roaring 20s? But yeah, I was almost certain that it was early 20s is when the Great Depression started. So yeah, you watch the show, you learn a little. August 1929 to March 1933.
Okay, so it was the end of 29. So yeah.
I said half a year, 2029. Anyway.
My God.
We're feeling the depression, I'm sure. Maybe not quite the depression, but we're definitely feeling around.
Yeah, for sure. But either way, excited. Well, you had a date this last week, didn't you?
Yeah.
And
I mean, it was fine. I'm not here to talk about my personal life.
All right. Fair enough.
When you start telling me or our viewers about your dating life with your wife, then maybe I'll share a little more.
What are we gonna say? Like, so you want to know about my dating life with
Not
my
really.
wife?
No.
Yeah, you're gonna say like So this weekend coming up, we have date night scheduled for Halloween. We're gonna, because we're not going out. Obviously, nothing is really going on, so we're not going out.
Yeah,
so
I'm still trying to find stuff to do too. Like, I got lucky last year with going to new places and meeting new people, but here with all this happening, I mean, I don't know if anyone's gonna do it anyway. But I'm just trying to convince people to hopefully like have a movie night or something.
Well, yeah, that's what we're doing. We're going to hand out candy early, and then the missus and I are going to do adult Halloween, where we're gonna put together a charcuterie because we're fancy and bougie like that. We're gonna have some cocktails, and we're gonna watch Disney Halloween movies and get hammered.
And we have a special segment coming up too. I don't want to spoil too much, but last week we put out our first torture trivia episode featuring Archer. And we're going to be making a new one coming up on Halloween. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And I'm looking forward to it. I had a blast making it.
Well, it was made as a suggestion if we're going to continue to do it, since technically torture trivia does not meet the Cover 5 theme or the football theme /sports /degenning that we do on this particular channel, is to split it off into its own separate channel and continue to do torture trivia.
Hopefully.
So
that'd be fun for me, at least.
Get some other participants. Maybe actually do some like real trivia. Have a moderator. Maybe we get somebody to actually be a moderator and come up with some questions for us.
Well, someone that actually wants to do the work, sure.
Yeah. Exactly. All right. Are we ready to get into the week 7 recap?
I'm ready.
All right.
Are you ready?
Not really, but
Let's
we're gonna move. But we're gonna move forward anyway.
do it. Let's see what's going on.
All right.
That could have been so much worse. I love it.
Could have been so much worse. So the flip flopping continues. We were tied, and now you have taken over a lead as far as.
Yeah, you. Didn't I get behind 1 week?
It was like a lead and then a tie, and then I think I had the lead. You made the tie, and then you won this one back to back to take a lead.
We were going back and forth. Then I lost it twice in a row, and then now I've won it twice in a row. And now I'm back where I should be, in the lead.
Whatever.
Whatever. It was a good game. I mean, anyone looking at the screen right now can tell we had a lot of similar picks, only 2 of which were different. So I'll just say what I want to say about the different picks. Cleveland over Cincinnati. I can't believe they didn't do better. They put up so many decent fights against other teams, but I guess I didn't take into account the fact that it's a divisional game. And Cleveland just – when Odell goes out in the very first play that he's on, it doesn't help either. So that's going to change things from here forward. And then Kansas City over Denver – to me, just seemed like an obvious pick. You were not so sure about the 9.5 points. I think there was actually a different one. Yeah, I think you remember you mentioning you weren't so sure about the 9.5 points. But overall, they covered with plenty to spare. They're giving me 17.5 points, more than making up for that half-point loss. Want to go into yours?
Sure.
Then we'll do the overlap.
Ultimately, like my only.
Wait! I just saw 2 blue tabs, and I picked Carolina. You picked Detroit. That's a different game entirely.
Yes.
Yeah. So I completely skipped Carolina there, and for them in New Orleans, which I am not unhappy with this pick. I mean overall,
it's a cover. It's a cover.
They gave me even though they lost. They were New Orleans was favored by 7.5 points, so they still gave me 4.5 points. But there was a time where Carolina had the lead; like they could have given me a decent amount of points if this gone a little more in my favor. So I mean, I obviously could have been better, but I'm still not unhappy with getting 4.5 points. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
All right. So Detroit at Atlanta. This really boils down to Atlanta finding new and exciting ways to lose football games. 100%. They are the only team in history to lose because they scored a touchdown.
What am I missing?
So at the end, Todd Gurley, who's on my fantasy team as well.
Oh, he tries to
breaks a run, and instead of had he gone down short of the goal line,
which he's done before, seen him do it at the Rams.
Yeah, sure. They would have maintained possession. They would have got a new set of downs, and they would have been able to run out the clock because Detroit didn't have enough timeouts, right? So they just would have been able to kneel on it, run the clock out. But because he accidentally scores, it stops the clock for change of possession, and Detroit gets the ball back, takes the ball all the way down, drives, and then scores a game-winning touchdown as time expires.
Yep, that was a very exciting game.
I mean, like you said, Atlanta doing Atlanta things. Like they're really at this point, the only thing that Atlanta is good for is finding ways to lose football games.
Yeah, which is what you wanted. Yeah. So it gave you a good 3.5 points there. What about Tampa Bay? What do you think of that game?
Yes, they are who I thought they were. On both of those, no, but Tampa, this should not have even been. I feel like there should have been more points. I think that that Vegas they could have stopped some of the scoring of Vegas, but obviously this played out exactly how I would have hoped it would play out, where Tampa
really
runs it. Yeah, well, it's Tom Brady. Tom Brady loves to run up the score. That's just it.
Yeah, well, I didn't pick this game because I thought Vegas would put up more of a fight.
Well, that also played out to their starting right tackle was on the COVID list, So he was out for the game, and because he had close quarters contact with the rest of the linemen, they didn't practice all week. They all tested they tested negative, and there was also a good chance that none of their starting linemen were going to be able to play this weekend, which would have been an absolute disaster for Vegas. I think that score ends up being 45-0 if if none of the starting O-line was there. But they still had 4 out of the 5, but they weren't practicing. So I flipped that pick because I initially had Vegas. That is one of my changes. I originally had Vegas. I switched that pick when I heard the news of the lineman issues, and it actually worked out from there, right?
Well, that's a very lucky switch on your part because this definitely could have been a lot worse for you.
Oh, yeah, it could have been so much worse. Looking at the Chargers against the Mustache, the Chargers just let them score for some reason. Like, their defense is by far better than this. I mean, they covered, but they let them score for whatever reason. It's another one of those teams that like tries to find new. They're trying to beat Atlanta. They're trying to find new and exciting ways to lose. Is really how I feel about the Chargers.
Yeah, I didn't even think about the switch that I made, but I was on Vegas as well last week, and I changed it to Carolina. That could have been a lot worse for me too.
Yep. So you would have been in my boat. And then the game that ultimately like absolutely killed me was San Francisco throttling New England to the point to which they benched Cam Newton. And they're also talking about Cam Newton not even starting this coming week.
Well, what was really funny is they benched Cam Newton because he threw 3 interceptions, and then as soon as the next guy gets on the field, he throws an interception. So I don't know if it was just San Francisco having the defense easily had the defense of the week, or New England just not being, ready to play. I don't know.
I don't know, but like, if they are, I'll get into when we get into our pick, when we go to get into this, coming week's picks, week 8. But if they are sitting Cam Newton, I'm definitely going to be switching one of my picks to being not New England. And then the last one we had together was Chicago on Monday night against the Rams.
They had a hard time against the Rams. I didn't think the Rams defense had it in them to make a stop like this.
Yeah, I can't figure out Chicago. I just can't. Like I said, I figured out Indy finally. I figured out where, like, even I feel like I figured out New Orleans, Tampa. I've got the rhythm. I feel like I've gotten the rhythm down. The Chargers, like I said, they're just trying. They are aspiring to be the Falcons, right? But Chicago, like, I'm not saying that they should be great, but for a team that's 5-2, they're not that great. I don't know what's going on.
Chicago?
Yeah, I just, as I said, I can't figure them out. Like, the Rams did exactly what the Rams do. They ran the ball effectively and then kind of sort of threw it whenever it was needed, per se. But and I think that's really with the Rams, right? Like, if you can shut down their run game, the rest of it falls apart.
Yeah, I know Vikings are lower in their division. I for some reason forgot that the Bears had 5 wins. But yeah, it's so weird to think that they would give up against a team like that.
Well, yeah, like I figured I wasn't saying like they were going to blow them out or anything, but I at least figured it would be like okay, they lose by a field goal, not the end of the world, right? But apparently, I don't know. I really don't know what's going on with Foles. He's a Super Bowl winning quarterback. and he's just managing, and he has weapons too. He has Allen Robinson, he has Anthony Miller, so it's not like he doesn't have like people to target. And even was it Mooney? Mooney's not horrible either. He's a solid receiver. It's not like he just has like trash targets, right? He has people to throw it to. David Montgomery's not a horrible running back by any means. Their offensive line is still like it's middle of the pack probably, but so I don't know why the rhythm is off, if it's just the play calling isn't there. or what they need to do. But there were a few times where they were down in the red zone and he threw it. Didn't he throw an interception in the end zone?
Yeah, they were. They almost had it, and he threw it right into their arms.
Yeah, I was just saying.
Well, he has a habit that I've seen of when he's under pressure, he lobs it up, and I remember watching him do it and going, "Oh no, there's an interception," and then bam, it's like, yeah, you lobbed it up for them to play 500 with the ball, and you remember that game?
We didn't call it 500, but you were talking about like was it heads up or no, 3 flies up. We called it 3 flies up.
I never heard it called that
in my day.
Yeah, we called it 500, where you one person had the football, they call a number, and the first person to get the 500 points would switch, and then they would throw the football to the group.
No, we never played like that. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, so we called it 3 flies up, and we played it with just like any ball. It wasn't necessarily a football. We just had a ball.
Oh yeah, no, I think we mainly played with a football. I don't remember playing with any other tennis ball or basketball or whatever ball you're talking about. But yeah, no, I ended this week with a 15.5. Could have been better if Chicago would have done a little better. You ended up with -10, which as New England just really wanted you to go negative. So right now, I'm enjoying being in the lead by 1. Hopefully I can extend it this coming week and secure my spot eventually and have you do our end of year torture. So how did we do compared to your Colin Cowherd?
Mr. Cowherd, before we get into week 8, talking about the Blazing 5. He had Green Bay. Yeah, let's get back to like looking at it where you can actually see me. So he had Green Bay +11. We're gonna do some math here, some quick and dirty math.
All right.
Pittsburgh +1.
All right.
New Orleans -4.5. And then Seattle -6.5.
All right.
And then he took the Rams at +8.5.
So I have him with +11, +1, -4.5, -6.5, +8.5 at 8.5. Or sorry, 9.5.
9 point. Yeah, +9.5. So he beat me, but you beat him.
Yes.
In this week overall.
So I mean,
I think that brings him to like -4.5. I think his total on the season is -4.5 at this point.
I'll have to go back.
I will recalculate it for next week.
Yeah, see where he is compared to us.
We can recap.
In our league standing. Do you know where you are in our? No, I mean it's not really a league, but do you know where you stand in our league?
61st, I believe, with this week. After this week,
I think I'm 40th.
Yeah, you're something like that. But that swing isn't too bad. Like
No.
the top 10 people have peeled away for the most part. The top 20 to 30 really don't have a ton of points. It's like a week's work. It's like a week's good one good week is really all it is.
The number one in our league or in the people we play with has 159.5 points.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And
so
my 40th place has 37.
Yeah, so as I said, like the top have peeled away for the most part, but we're only halfway through the season, right? So
plenty of time to mess up even.
So yeah,
even
so
further.
like if they screw up, then we can totally.
If they mess up, we could definitely creep up.
Well, I would hope that we would get better as the season goes on.
You would hope, but teams surprise us. Like when Atlanta loses 5 games in a row, then absolutely dominates when we pick against them and really mess us up.
Yeah, that really hurt. All right, getting into.
So if you were to decide which one of these pumpkins was you and which one was me, which do you think is you?
Well, I mean, size-wise, considering you're a big goofy SOB, you're the right one because it's the bigger pumpkin.
I absolutely agree. Because the one left completely looks like an a-hole, and that's absolutely your dynamic.
I mean, I agree that you're a pumpkin. It's fine. All right.
You mean you're still the pumpkin on the left? I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know how this gets any better for you.
All right, go ahead and I see that you copied my homework, so
I think mine's first on that sheet, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, we have some similar picks once again. Where it looks like we're actually only differing on one pick so far. And I mean, when you compare it to some of the other matchups that we have, it's obvious that we think alike at least a little bit. Uh,
yeah, there's some that I'm playing with as far as like to switch around, but I'll talk about that when I get to my
well,
pick.
it's just because like we don't pick the Thursday night game because of the curse of the Thursday night game, but that's Carolina and Atlanta. Baltimore and Pittsburgh, that's a hard choice. I mean, Baltimore's favored. You have Rams in Miami, Kansas City. I'm just going through all of them. Kansas City and New Jersey. New Jersey. It's the Jets. They might as well be New Jersey. Yeah, New York.
Well,
Jets.
they play in New Jersey.
Yeah, I see NYJ and I just went New Jersey.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
Well, the only true New York team is Buffalo. That Buffalo is the only team that plays in the state of New York.
Yeah, because the New York Giants play in Jersey as well.
Yeah, the Jets and the Giants share a stadium.
Yeah, and I'm thinking the only two teams that are called New York.
Yeah, they actually have New
the
York.
The only two teams that are called New York play in New Jersey.
Neither of them play.
And it's just all kinds of fun. And of course, we picked Green Bay, Minnesota, Indianapolis, and Detroit. That could be that's one of the ones you picked, I believe. Then Cleveland and Vegas, Tennessee, Cincinnati, Buffalo, New England, Chargers and Denver. I mean, if I was to pick that game, I would hope to go Chargers. It's because but it's hard. I mean, Kansas City just whipped Denver at home, but I still think Chargers would be a better team than Denver. Seattle and San Francisco, based on track history and San Francisco and how they're playing, that could be a really high-scoring game. But then again, when they had a high-scoring game against the Cowboys, San Francisco definitely has a better defense than the Cowboys. So Seattle can still really score. So that's a tough game to pick. New Orleans and Chicago, of course, I picked that one. Then Philly and Dallas. There's not even that one. They don't have a spread for that one yet.
So what's been announced? Yeah, in the app there is no spread, but what's been announced is Philly minus 7.5. As of right now, that's what's on the board right now. There are places where you can get Philly minus 7.5, and I am like so torn on that. Like, not because I'm a Cowboys fan, because like, our season's over, so I can officially bet against them because there is no chance of salvaging the season now. But
that whole division is almost wrecked.
Yeah, it's completely wrecked.
Well, I mean, you might still go to playoffs based on being best of the worst.
No. Right now it'll be between Philly and the footballs, which is crazy to think.
Again,
the footballs.
I would usually go Philly on that game, but because it is a division game, you just never know how it's really going to go because Philly has a tendency to play like they're the Falcons.
Well, it depends on who's – well, no, DiNucci is starting. I was even going to say who depends on who's starting. Like, Andy Dalton isn't going to be out of concussion protocol. So, DiNucci is going to be starting for the Cowboys, right? So, completely unknown quarterback. But my only problem with going straight with Philly is like they really don't have any offensive weapons. Like, they have Boston Scott. I think Dallas Goedert is probably going to play. But they don't have Deshaun Jackson. They don't have They don't have Rager. Who's the other? Like who's he going to throw to?
So yeah, Aguilar moved to Vegas.
Yeah, Aguilar. They lost Aguilar. He went to Vegas. Yeah. And then I'm saying like who's Carson Wentz going to throw to? And like not that I really like feel like that the Cowboys are going to be able to stop the run that great. But what ultimately the formula, it's not a mystery. The magic formula of how to beat the Cowboys is to run it at them, let them get comfortable, and then burn them over the top with a deep ball every time. And then they start and then they have to start protecting the deep ball, which opens up the run game, and then they just get run all over because that's just what happens. And then they go back to going up on the run, and then they get burnt over the top deep again because our secondary is awful.
There's they don't. I'm looking at them on fantasy football right now. I didn't know Deshaun Jackson was on IR. I mean,
Mhm.
not that I had him anyway, but still. Fulgham, I think is how you say his name.
Oh yeah, Fulgham. That's right, that rookie. So yeah, so it's basically they have Fulgham, and then maybe Dallas Goddard, and then Boston Scott can catch out of the backfield, but he's taking up. He's
Who's
going to get a
is
majority of
Dallas
the.
Goddard a tight end or?
Yeah, he's a tight end behind Ertz, but Ertz is still out.
Yeah, well, Goddard's on IR too, so they
Is
have
he
their
still on
third.
IR?
Yeah, they're both on IR, and I think they have a different tight end called Rogers.
Yeah,
That's in playing.
but that's just saying, like he doesn't really have anybody. He has Fulgham. He's going to throw to Fulgham, right? And that's about it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of one of those things of like, I mean, I think I'm just going to stay away from it altogether. Um, if that's the case.
Anyone listening just witnessed a change in my fantasy lineup.
Oh, did you just do a change? We're not even. Anyway, we're talking cover 5. We're not talking fantasy.
Yeah, no, so we're good. But I'm just announcing it because no one can see my screen.
Anyway, so yeah, so we have a lot of similar picks and they all make sense. Minnesota, it's a divisional game at Green Bay. Minnesota is who we thought they were. I refuse to go back to that that toxic ex that does nothing but disappoint.
This is gonna be the week where they really mess with us.
I mean, even with all of their, because they should have. There's a chance that Dalvin Cook comes back this week. So like even with like having all of their weapons back, you remember when everybody was healthy at the very beginning, that first week when I bet on Minnesota to beat Green Bay, and then Green Bay decided to just spank them. I expect more of the same. I expect more of the same out of this. And Minnesota does not play well outdoors because it's at Green Bay. It's in Lambeau. So
okay,
I'm on that.
Well, it's a division game where you have the top of the division playing the bottom of the division, and they're just going to show a little bit of dominance.
Yeah, for sure. Right. I'm going to skip over the Cleveland game because we're going to get into that. Cleveland and Vegas. We'll get into that because that's another one of our overlaps. Tennessee at Cincinnati. Tennessee came off a heartbreaking loss to.
This is still an overlap. You might as well talk about Vegas and Cleveland.
Whatever. I'm not there yet for good reason. Right. Listen, I think we're on the same thing, right? Like Tennessee's gonna come out and needs to stamp a win, and that's
they just got their first loss against the Steelers. They want to come back and absolutely dominate someone else in that division.
Yep. Let's see. I'll skip over New Orleans and Chicago for now, but Tampa Bay at New York. New York sucks, and Brady loves to run up the score. That's really just what it is.
Yes, and negative 11.5. Oh, yeah, that was another thing why I didn't take the Kansas City game, because that one was like negative 19.5 against the Jets. Like, I know they can beat the Jets, but will they run up the score?
Oh, they're going to cover. They'll cover by 20, but like the score could be like 24-0, right? And then what did you get? And then you got 5 points out of it, which is fine, right?
Yeah.
Like,
at some point, the cover is just too high.
Yeah, like that 19.5, nobody's on that unless you're on the Jets, and nobody's expecting the Jets to win. They're just expecting Kansas
Hopefully
City
get 10 points out of it.
To coast, right?
Yeah.
Is really what it is from there. But at least I think Tampa runs up the score for sure. Like, and like I said with KC, that's another. Those are the two high spreads for the week. So. And then I actually like you talk about Buffalo at home against New England.
Yeah, see, I know this was one of the ones you're looking at too.
I'm looking at it. Well, it depends on who they start. If they're going to start Stidham or Cam, because if they start Stidham, I'm definitely switching one of these picks, and I might switch up.
Well, just by us going through all of them, it looks like we're going to have some pretty similar games this week. So, I mean. Just knowing that we'll maybe have one game different, that's going to be the deciding game.
Yeah, ultimately that's what it is. But okay, so which brings us to Cleveland at home against Las Vegas, and you notice I have that little diagram up on the screen here because, and this is the 100% the logic behind my pick, right? That last week, or was it the week before last? So week 5. This is where Baker Mayfield was. He got absolutely slaughtered by the Steelers, right? So then we came into this song and dance that he does. Then he steps it up. Then last week, week 7, was here where they beat the Bungles, right? Definitely an inferior team based on what it was. They are the Bungles, right? And then, thinks he's hot shit again. So this week, this is where we should be. Ultimately, we should be here, and that is 100% why I picked Vegas. Vegas also had that really upsetting loss as well, where I think that was not reflective of them. I think that was reflective of missing their right tackle and the fact that their offensive line did not get to practice all week. I think they come back and they are going to be – I think they're going to give Cleveland fits. And also Odell being out, that means that they are down one more weapon to have to cover, right? So
Indeed.
Yep. So that's where I'm at.
I still think without Odell, they have potential to score, but it just depends on Las Vegas' defense.
For sure. And Vegas also likes to come out and score early and score quick, right? And I think that's going to rattle Baker. Coming out and being down.
I think that's what happened last week against Tampa Bay, is that they scored quick and then they just couldn't get anything going afterwards.
Yeah, but Tampa is not. But Tom Brady is – Baker Mayfield and Tom Brady are on two completely different planets, basically, right? Tom Brady sees Tom Brady sees that and goes, all right, let me show you what's what. Let me put my nuts on the table, right? Like he's going to step up. Whereas I see, Baker Mayfield shriveling up, right? When it comes to the adversity.
Yeah, Brady sees a challenge. Mayfield sees a reason to go sit on the bench. There's a complete difference.
All right, I think that should do it. We might have some switcheroonies depending upon. I think there's going to be some movement around the lines. I really, I wanted to. So actually, that brings us into. We wanted to talk about before we get into the big news of the week, right?
Mm-hmm.
I will actually really consider taking the Thursday night game, but the Thursday night curse, I just can't do it. I can't bring myself to do it. You can call me a wussy, but you said that you had a side bet that you wanted to go into.
Well, yeah. So, we haven't done a side bet in a couple of weeks. I think the last one we did, I lost, and no, I won because you had to wear the Cardinals shirt.
Yeah,
I was back one more when I had to paint my beard green. Go see it. But yeah, so we haven't done one in a couple weeks, so I think we should do one, especially since I think aren't Carolina and Falcons same division?
Mm.
I'm about to look it up. But yeah, so since they're the Thursday night game, Atlanta's all over the place.
Finding new and exciting ways to lose.
Yeah, so
Atlanta Falcons doing Atlanta Falcons things.
And they are same division. Panthers 3-4, Falcons are 1-6. But I was thinking we could either do total passing yards or total rushing yards. Or we could even make it even worse and just pick one of the teams and pick the passing or rushing yards for that team. Either way, it's easy to look up.
Let's go passing yards. I like passing yards in this one.
All right. Do you want to do total or you want to pick a team?
Let's go total.
Total passing yards?
Yeah.
So then we're going to play over and under?
Sure.
All right. Then, since I'm suggesting the challenge, I'll pick a number and let you do the over under.
Okay.
Sound fair? And terms?
Oh, you wanted to do another Beardiful challenge.
Another Beardiful challenge.
And so the loser, which is I don't think this isn't really that much of a loss, but the loser must color their beard blue for the month of November for prostate cancer awareness. Support my balls.
He says prostate awareness, support my balls. I'm pretty sure those are two separate. I was going to say organs. I don't even think that's correct.
No, it's all part. I mean, I believe it's all part of the same system down there. It's all no, it's all connected. It actually is all connected.
There's a month for everything. We kind of skipped over Breast Cancer Awareness Month, which is what we're in now, and I'm still a little mad we didn't do a pink beard challenge. But
we should have done a pink something challenge, but not just not just coloring the beard, but like wear pink, whatever. I mean, yeah, we probably should have. Our bad. Sorry, ladies. We definitely support the Tatas.
We definitely support them. That's all I'm gonna say. Anyway, so all right, so we need a number for the over and under. So I was doing a little research and found that per team, I believe the average passing yards was around 230 to 250. So for total, you're looking at around 500. But this is a Thursday night game, and from what I've been hearing on the radio, it may be a wet field, so I'm thinking that they might be a little lower. So for total passing yards, I'm gonna say 450.
450 total between both of them.
Between Atlanta, who I'm blanking his name right now, Matt Ryan,
Matty Ice.
And then you still have Teddy Bridgewater. Your main running guy for Carolina is possibly out one more week.
Yeah, but Mike Davis has been doing all right.
He's been doing well. Julio Jones is on and off. I don't know if he didn't had an injury this past week or not.
No, he should be all right. He still has a lingering hamstring injury, but he seems to be he seems to be on the other side of it.
So I'm writing down right now, total passing at 450 yards.
Yeah, I'm going to take the under. I'm going to take under 450.
Under by Chris. All right. So when you tune in next week and one of us has a light blue, not a dark blue, try to get a light blue.
Let's see what I can do.
Yeah, well, I mean, Amazon, not sponsored.
Yeah, that'd be really great.
Oh, yeah, right. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Side bet achieved.
All right, so moving on to the big news of the week,
which is basically just player updates that we find either fascinating or that just happen. We think of it. Pretty much.
All right, so we already mentioned Julio Jones. We already have that one out of the way.
Well, yeah, he's always questionable for some odd reason. Cook was out. He was off last week because it was a bye, but he was out the week before because of a groin injury. So he's looking like he may come back this week, hopefully, because he's on my team. Jacobs always questionable for some reason. Both players are always questionable, but they're still both top 10 running backs according
lingering
to
injuries. It's just lingering injuries.
Yeah. We said it earlier. OBJ, ACL tear, out for the season. My team. I'm obviously more upset that he got hurt just in general. We want to see our players at 100%, but he was on my fantasy team. So I had to pick up a new wide receiver. So, yeah, he's out. I mean, and that was such a strange time for him to get hurt, too, because he was underthrown. It was intercepted. He came back to try to tackle the guy and just got caught up in some mess and somehow tore it. I didn't see anyone land on him. I saw him like midair and then just was hurt.
Yeah, I didn't see that. I wasn't watching that game.
Were you watching the Rams game?
No, I had a really exciting Sunday.
Well, no, the Rams game was Monday.
Or Monday. All right, no, that too. So no, that plays into it. Why I was like, yes, I did get to watch it, but as far as the wife had to have her gallbladder removed on Sunday, so I've been dealing with that. So like, it's a lot of it's
right?
water. Yes, she made it. No, I'm not single. Nope, not single.
No, so I believe I believe it was last night. I believe it was a Rams player. If I had the day or game wrong entirely, I apologize. But One guy was like put to, I don't even know who it was. I just remember seeing it and going, who? Because he had like landed on his knees, but the rest of his body went to the side. Like you see his body lay on his shin and ankle, who are still in like the upright position, if that makes sense. Like completely turned the knee and like it
I
looked like his thigh hit his shin.
I did not see that.
It was rough. It was rough to see. I could only imagine how it felt. Oh
So
my!
who was it?
I want to say it was either like a running back or an offensive lineman for the Rams. That is my recollection of it because I remember seeing it. I think I remember seeing it Monday night, and it was just it was horrifying. Like you never like people land weird. I mean, you've seen defensive players. I think it was Mac last year or the year before. He sacked whoever they were playing against, and he goes a celebration and tears his. I don't think it was Achilles, but maybe one of his tendons. But he just did a celebration. He jumped up and just like yeah, and when he landed, just fell to his butt because he tore something. Like it's like this game is rough.
It definitely, yeah, definitely. Oh well, and then we have Andy Dalton gets knocked into another
Yeah,
dimension
yeah.
uh,
Well,
under
was that
concussion protocol.
because of a slide tackle?
Well, he was
Or not slide
sliding.
tackle.
He
He was
yeah,
sliding. Yeah,
he was
those are
sliding. He
dangerous.
gave himself up. No, it's supposed to be safer somehow.
You would think, but I've seen Big Ben get knocked that way
Well, the
too.
problem is that you have defenders that don't respect the fact that like it was everybody said it was a dirty hit and that he was giving himself up, right? Like most quarterbacks are going to give themselves up for the most part. Even when you get close, they're going to go
See,
down or they're going to leap.
sometimes
They're not trying to like run through it, right?
I really want to give defensive players the benefit of a doubt sometimes that they go in for the tackle, they put their helmet down, and they completely lose vision and don't see them going for the slide and their full body motion. And since they took their eyes off or they can't see because of it, that they go head to head or shoulder to head or something because they don't know exactly where he is. But that's just me trying to be like, was it really his fault?
Sometimes I'll give you that. Sometimes yes. In this particular case, it did not look that way. It looked like he was trying to just take a shot on him and get away with taking a shot on him. I don't think he necessarily was trying to take him out of the game per se, but was he trying to take a shot on him? Yeah, he was trying to take a shot on him, and it just
Make him a little iffy about running the ball again.
exactly yeah. If you get that's like when you used to be able to pop receivers going over the middle, you wanted them to hesitate because you would pop them going over the middle, and I think it was like the same. It was something similar, right?
It's just
So
dirty.
it was yeah. He was just trying to take a hit on him, and but just based on the way that it went, he hit him, shoulder arm, whatever, straight to the dome, and hit him so hard it knocked his helmet off, and then he was
Yep.
doing that like twitch on the ground. That was hard to watch.
Well, so we've seen similar ones with that. Um, uh, Brown taking a hit for the Steelers a couple years ago, really messing up, really hit him hard. I believe Devontae Adams last year or the year before got hurt really bad. So like it's a dangerous game, and not everyone wants to play. They want to play to hurt. They don't want to play to tackle someone, and it's rough to see.
Yeah, and that's what's crapped up the game, right? Like now we have rules that make the game a poorer quality of product, right? Because you have those types of players that are just, you know,
Yeah, I mean, like I completely understand. Like it's an aggressive game that people definitely have the possibility to be hurt. But if your intention is to hurt someone, you don't deserve to play. Which
yeah,
is like why I think why am I blanking? Luck. Luck was such a weird player to so many defensive guys because he was always like nice to them after a tackle. No matter what happened, he was always like, "Hey man, nice tackle. Hey, that was a great job." Like it. Like I remember seeing it. It was a YouTube video, and like defensive guys going, "It was weird." Like,
because it made you not want to do it.
yeah, because it was like no matter what happened, he was always like the nicest guy to the people that he was playing against, and which I
Fill them
think
with
is
kindness.
yeah, well, exactly, and which honestly, if you can play with good intensity, and good enthusiasm, and still have a competitive spirit and be as kind as Andrew Luck is, to everyone that's trying to tackle him down, that would make for a great game. But then again, you also have people taking off other people's helmets and swinging it at them.
Man.
Anyway, maybe I'm just above people trying to talk, whatever to me. I don't care. Say whatever you want. It's not going to bother me.
Yeah.
Then again, no one comments on our videos anyway.
Whatever. All right. So who else we got? I know Miles Sanders is going to likely be out again this week, but they're going to a bye, so we should see him come back in week 10, probably. Anybody else go out with an injury, I think that's it as far as.
Yeah, none that I can think of at the moment. I've watched most of the games this week. I'm trying to think of who went out and maybe do a quick NFL injury report, but that's just going to give me a lot of questionable stuff. Nothing really.
It gives you a bunch of, and that gives you everybody that's been on the list.
I think the top ones are you see Dalton.
Yeah.
What else we got?
Deshaun Jackson is out with like a knee sprain or an ankle, something or other. Deshaun Jackson's out.
Running back for the Cardinals, Drake is out.
That's right. Drake is out. So now, Chase Edmonds is. I'm curious to see what Chase Edmonds does with this. I think he actually will probably do well.
Let's see who else is out. Finley for the Bengals. I don't know, is he? Oh, he's a center. I was I'm trying to hit. I mean, not saying that not every position on the football team is important, but noticeable people that you've heard of a lot. Because for me personally, I don't hear a lot of names for linemen, centers, or defensive linemen or anything like that.
Yeah. Chris Carson is out.
Yep. Hodge, wide receiver for the Browns. It's funny, on the Browns list, I do not see Beckham. That's weird.
Because he's not on the injury report. He's on the IR now. Because he's out for the season.
I guess that's a whole different list.
Yeah.
I learned something new.
Yeah, he's out for the season, so he's not on the injury report.
Eifert, tight end. He was great 4 or 5 years ago?
I wouldn't say great, but he was a good tight end.
He was a top tight end for at least 1 year.
Yeah.
So I just surprising that it never went anywhere.
I mean, he plays for the Bengals.
Yeah. Well, no. Now he's on Jaguars.
Yeah, but he played for the Bengals.
Yes, he did play for the Bengals.
That's what I'm saying. That's why his career never went anywhere. It's because he played for the Bengals.
Well, even still, I know he's moved around a little bit. See, even here, this is a safety, but it says injured reserved on the status. So, and then I have out for someone else on another list. I don't know. It's injured reserved again for
anyway. Jets. So we have a few more. I think those are probably the most. Oh, Chris Godwin. It has an injury.
He's been on and off the entire time. Oh yeah, I just got to him. Godwin is stated to miss Buccaneers Week 8 against the Giants after surgery. Yeah, he hurt his index finger.
Yeah, he has a finger injury. But AB will be playing
next week, not this week.
Oh yeah, that's right. He's back. He's signed. He's practicing with them, but he is not playing. Right.
Well, I said he has 1 more week of suspension, which is this week, I believe, and then he's allowed to play next week.
Which should be interesting.
We'll see what happens. I mean, Godwin is Brady's go-to for some reason this year. And I'm curious to see if Brown coming into the mix makes a big difference.
It just means he's going to spread the ball around more. I really think that's what it is. I think I don't think you'll have a significant drop-off between Mike Evans and Godwin. I think it should take a little bit off of each of them in order to feed AB. I think the one that'll probably see the most impact would be the tight ends. So Gronk and Cameron Brate.
Yeah.
And then was it Miller? I think there's a Miller that he throws to as a check down. He probably won't see anything anymore. Right. He had that 1 week where he blew up and that was just Brady's guy. And then
after that, it was just nothing.
Well, after that, he just was brought into the mix. Once he proved that he could he could be reliable. He was just brought into the mix and then therefore scripted to. And so it became less of a, all right, hey, these guys are covered. Now I'm going to check down or, go through my progression. And whereas now I think they were more scripting to them. So I think that actually impacted it of, okay, well, if we're scripting to them, it's different, right?
Yeah. I think it's time we got out of here.
All right.
So we've gotten everything we need to. I'm excited for the side bet. Should be fun.
Oh yeah. Hopefully it is a wet and nasty game, and we have lots of rushing yards.
Passing.
Rushing.
Oh, right. Passing for me.
I took the under. All right. You want to go ahead? You want to take us out?
Yeah, let's do it. Please find us on Facebook at The Bald and Beardiful. Like our page, watch our videos. Subscribe to our channel. Hit the like button on our videos. We'd really appreciate it. You can email us with any questions, comments. We don't care about the concerns, but you can find us at theballandbeardiful@gmail.com. We're looking forward to hearing from all you guys. What am I missing? Oh, hopefully check out our new torture trivia segments. We're adding in some more people, some of our friends, and it's been a lot of fun. So I'm looking forward to it.
All right. Until next week, same bald time, same Beardiful channel.